So for generating the new inventory component, what we'll have to do is we'll go to the solution and stop the running process with Control C. As I have told before, we'll give the command ng generate component app components slash inventory. So why I have given here app component slash inventory, because what I want the command to do is create a new folder over here, because I want to keep the newly created components in a different folder. So here you can see that app components is generated through this command ng generate component app component slash inventory. And if we open this folder, inventory is the new component over here. We can see that it is created. Now we'll start working in HTML file of the inventory component. Now in this inventory.component.html file, we'll be giving the HTML structure of the inventory component. And how do we travel to this component? Because we know that currently app.component is working. The HTML structure is showing whatever we have given over there. But what I want to do is that on this particular item click, the drop down that we have on the browser, we want to go to this particular component, inventory component, right? So how do we travel to this page? And for that, what we'll be doing is we'll be using routing. So this is a very important concept for you to learn if you are not aware about routing concept already. So please focus here. For the routing to work over here, what we have to do is make this app.component.html like the main template of our solution. So you have to understand that is app.component is like the main page, which will be shown on all of the pages. It will be uniform throughout the pages in the application. And after our nav bar, we are going to write router hyphen outlet. So what we want the solution to do is, whenever we are changing the pages, after the nav bar, whatever we are giving, whatever HTML template we want to give, it should be displayed through this particular router. What I mean to say is, this is the nav bar and we have multiple options. We have inventory, we have customers, and then we have home. So if I click on any of these, whatever template I want to show, it should be displayed through this router outlet. And the router outlet will be displaying whatever HTML structure I am providing in a particular component, that is inventory component over here, because this is the one that we are focusing on right now. So what we want to do is, when we click on this particular item, it should show whatever content is being mentioned in this file, in this inventory.component.html. Now for that, what we have to do is we can remove the href from here. We'll mention router link, and then we have to give the path. So over here I have mentioned the path, but now what I have to do is define this particular path. And how do I do that? We have to open app.routes.ts. So in the routes array, we'll be giving the path. Mention the path name. This is the path that we gave in the HTML structure, and then mention the component. So we are going to use inventory component. So the IntelliSense is working, and that is why I am going to automatically use it, and this has automatically imported it, because the Visual Studio IntelliSense is working over here. If it is not working for you, then you have to import it manually through the given particular file structure that you have, and then use it over here. So now I am saving it, and then I am saving this particular file also, app.component.html. I have given the router link over here, and I have mentioned router outlet in this particular file only. So what it should display is, it should display whatever is mentioned in this particular file. So let's check if it is working or not. We have to run the solution for that. Okay, so the solution is running, but before we go to the browser through this particular URL, what we have to do is we also have to include the component, the inventory component and the router module in app.component.ts file. So we'll open that, and over here we'll write router modules that we are importing from angular/router, and import it over here also. And then we are also importing inventory component. So the IntelliSense works and the import is already mentioned here automatically. If it is not working for you, you can mention it manually also, as I have said before. I'll just save this. After saving, we are going to this particular URL. Opened. I go to inventory. Great. So the page says inventory works. That was already mentioned in the HTML template of inventory component. And we have come to this particular path that we gave in the routes file. This is happening after we are clicking over here on the inventory option. So I hope all of you have understood how routing is working in Angular. Through routing, we can go to any particular page. We are not reloading the page, as it's the benefit of using Angular, and we are traversing from one page to another, keeping our main template intact. Because you see over here that we have the nav bar, and we are keeping our main template intact and still traversing from one page to another. The main template is mentioned in app.component.html. So after this, what we can do is we can give the correct HTML template over here that we want to have on this particular page. So I'll just paste that particular HTML template over here, remove this inventory works, and I'll be saving this HTML file. Go to the browser on the link. So this is the basic HTML template that I have used, because the whole project series is regarding Angular, and then at the backend we are using .NET Core and SQL for the APIs. We don't want to focus on Bootstrap as much, but I do want all of you to understand how it works and how you can use the Bootstrap integrated into your Angular application. You can use this HTML template if you're building a basic project, and even if you want to enhance the project, you can use the advanced learnings of some CSS. So over here we have the submit form for the inventory details that we want to capture, and you see over here that I have already mentioned some static data in the HTML template in the inventory details table. We are going to populate this particular data dynamically. I'm going to do it with you through the series, and all of this data will be shown dynamically and not directly from the static HTML template. So that we are going to do. But firstly, what we are going to see is how to add a new row, how to submit this particular form for the inventory details, and add this row in our table. That is the first operation of the CRUD operations, is to create a row in the table. So this is what we'll be seeing now, because if I am just choosing over here, I'm mentioning something, and this is the product ID that I have, or I could use any particular product from the drop down. I want to save it. So if I click on it, currently nothing is going to happen. That we have to build the functionality, we have to build along the way. And also what I want to do is add a row for this particular form where I'm mentioning the details of the text box also, because currently we are seeing the text box but we are not seeing what it stands for. So that is one thing that I'm going to add in the HTML template, and then start with the create operation for this form.